Hi, I'm Marie, and this is my first YouTube video actually, which is quite exciting. And I guess after 3.5 years going through a spiritual awakening, there's so much to say in these videos. So this first one, I want to do it around about the Kundalini Awakening, which I might add, didn't know anything about this before. I wasn't somebody that practiced yoga. When I first started my awakening three or 3.5 years ago now, I did get called to go to a Buddhist meeting where I did a meditation there in a group setting, and it didn't really resonate with me when they were talking about the ego. Maybe it was just too short or too soon into my journey, really. But in terms of my Kundalini Awakening, I'd been going through quite a lot of ups and downs, and the spiritual awakening seems to force all of these issues anyway. And as somebody that I guess worked to provide for the family and stayed busy and with all the distractions, and I just didn't really focus on getting the information that potentially could have helped me, I guess. So I want to share that with you guys, and I hope this video can help some of you at least. So on the 18th of December 2019, I had another argument with my partner at the time, and pretty much just reached a point where I just had enough. We weren't sleeping in the same room, and I lay in bed and looked up, and my heart, I felt like I was having a heart attack. I really thought, this is it. I'm not going to come back from this. The pain that is inside me is just too much to deal with. And I looked up and I spoke out and said, please, please, can somebody help me? I can't do this anymore. And I felt this whooshing around my head. My whole body went so hot, and it was just so surreal. It was a feeling of bliss and peace, and almost like I was just saying to myself, it's okay, it's all okay, just surrender into it. My complete body went paralyzed. It was like I had a ball of fire traveling up my body, just literally coming here, and it felt as though it come out of my throat, like almost I was paralyzed, but at the same time I kind of went in a kind of form that wasn't really a physical. It was really quite odd. Quite soon afterwards, I realised that I was completely paralysed, literally from head to toe, and I was kind of moving my eyes, but that was about all that was happening. And in all fairness, I don't think there was a point where there was any kind of upset or I wasn't concerned about what was going on. So with that, I kind of remember focusing on my fingers and just trying to get my fingers to move, and I got them to move, and I kind of sat up very slowly, and tears just fell down my eyes, and this feeling of, they were blissful. There was no, like when you normally, when we cry, we kind of, it's a physical thing. It wasn't like that. It was, this emotion was coming out of me so naturally and so liberating to kind of release it all. And I just thought, what is going on? But I feel better, so it's cool. I went to sleep eventually, and when I woke up the next day, I just felt different. I felt really, really different, and almost at bliss, to the point where I didn't know what had happened, and I rang. I do sort of have a little bit of spiritual interest, I guess. I've been interested in horoscopes and tarot cards and that kind of stuff since I've been very little. So I rang the usual spiritual place that I went to get my tarot readings, and I explained what had happened, and they were like, oh, maybe a spirit had entered or you'd been visited by somebody. And I just kind of thought, well, I feel better anyway, so we'll just kind of crack on. And yeah, it was an experience that I guess paved far more in my awakening than I'd ever would have thought about. A lot of people talk about when you have a Kundalini awakening, and it is a blessing. And at the time, you're kind of a little bit bewildered, and events potentially that follow from then onwards are really quite odd. But if you kind of understand that what is happening to you is basically a rebirth of who you actually are inside, I'll explain that in a couple of my future videos in terms of what that means. But I just want to tell you that if by any chance you've had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, just stick with it, and it will be okay. Namaste.